Oh wow, next week in EastEnders looks absolutely loaded. We've got a long-awaited return, a shocking arrest, secrets spilling out left and right, and even a gun in the middle of it all. Honestly, it feels like the whole square is one spark away from going up in flames. If you've been missing that old-school EastEnders drama where family loyalty gets torn apart and people make terrible choices under pressure, this is definitely one of those weeks. Let's get straight into the spoilers. 7 big ones from Monday 25th through to Thursday the 28th of August. 1. Anthony returns as Oscar is arrested. So first up, Anthony Trueman is back on the square. We haven't seen him for ages, and at first it looks like he's just come to surprise Patrick ahead of the wedding with Yolande. Lovely idea, right? Except nothing stays simple in Walford. The reunion gets thrown completely off when Anthony finds out Patrick has been attacked. That's not exactly the warm family welcome he was expecting. And then comes the real kicker. Oscar steps forward and admits he was the one behind it. You can imagine Patrick's face, hearing that confession from his own grandson. He's so shocked he actually suffers a panic attack. The whole family rally around him, but the atmosphere is toxic. Fingers pointing, tempers flying, and Anthony demanding they take Oscar straight to the police. Jack, though, is trying to be measured, saying it should be Patrick's call. That's a real clash between Anthony's straight-down-the-line approach and Jack's more cautious one. It doesn't stop there either, because Lauren gets dragged in when Peter realizes she's been covering for Oscar all this time. That betrayal cuts deep. Meanwhile, Yolande is left devastated when Patrick wants to delay the wedding after all this turmoil. Honestly, my heart breaks for her. She's waited so long for her happy ending. But with Anthony back in the mix and already locking horns with Howie, you can just feel more fireworks are coming. 2. Tommy learns the truth about Zoe. Now, this one is a mess. Tommy has been caught running a fake profile online, using it to stir trouble by liking nasty posts about Stacey. Kat and Alfie are horrified, and what's worse, Joel is clearly playing a role in dragging Tommy down this path. Kat's instincts are screaming that Joel is a bad influence, while Alfie tries to play it softer. But the real bombshell happens when Tommy, messing about with Joel and a dodgy phone job, stumbles across Kat's stolen mobile. He listens to her voicemail and hears Alfie's secret, his confession about Zoe. Can you imagine? A teenager hearing that before Kat does. Tommy's shocked, confused, angry, and suddenly holding a secret that could rip his family apart. Kat wants to clamp down hard, but Alfie's shaken. He ropes Stacey in, hoping to calm Tommy down and stop him from blurting everything to Kat. But let's be real, once a secret's in Tommy's hands, there's no stuffing it back in. This could be the thing that pushes him over the edge. And if Kat learns the truth this way, their family life could completely unravel. 3. Joel's on the warpath again. Joel's behavior is really starting to cross the line now, and next week it takes another nasty turn. At the café, he ends up saying some downright offensive things to Amy and Lily, and you can imagine the atmosphere. The girls aren't the type to sit there quietly, so they call him out straight away. But instead of cooling down, Joel completely blows up. Even Tommy, who's been hanging off his every word lately, looks shaken by just how ugly it gets. Once Amy tells Vicky and Ross what happened, it's game over for Joel's reputation. They're horrified, and Ross does his best to rein him in, but that only seems to fan the flames. Then Vicky steps in and gives Joel a few home truths of her own, which, let's be honest, he needed to hear. But the problem is, instead of taking it on board, he gets even more aggressive. It's the sort of scene that makes you wonder how much longer anyone will put up with him. The worrying part is the way Tommy's caught in the middle of all this. Joel's clearly spiraling, and the influence he's having on Tommy is really unsettling. We've seen before how easily Tommy can get drawn into the wrong crowd, and this feels like history repeating itself. Viewers will definitely have something to say about this, because if Joel keeps dragging Tommy down with him, it could lead to one of the lad's darkest storylines yet. 4. Tommy goes missing after Joel's outburst. Kat finally lays down the law with Tommy. She orders him home, but it just blows up into another huge row. Words are said, feelings are hurt, and then Alfie makes a shocking confession of his own during the heat of the moment. The fallout is brutal. Not long after, Jean sits Kat down and gives her some straight advice. Get everyone together, find Tommy, and try to get to the bottom of what's really going on with him. But by then it's too late. Tommy has vanished. He's not just hiding in his room either. He's out there, on a mission of his own. Where he's gone and what he's planning, nobody knows yet, but it's clear he's not in the right frame of mind. We've seen Tommy struggle with anger and secrets before, but this time it feels bigger, scarier. With Kat already raw from Alfie's lies, as in sight of Tommy is her worst nightmare. And with Joel still lurking around, You can't help but worry about where Tommy's head is at. 5. Harry's got a gun over to Harry now, and this storyline's about to get dangerous. Jenna's trying her best to build something real with him, planning little romantic moments. But he's distracted and paranoid, especially about George. Things come to a head when Ravi catches Oki showing Harry a gun. Yes, a gun right there in the flat. Ravi demands Harry gets rid of it immediately. But what's a teenager supposed to do with a weapon like that? Harry panics, thinks about burying it, but Ravi warns him that's a stupid move. To make matters worse, George turns up demanding answers about Gina. Harry's already on edge, and now he's got all this pressure building. Later, when Harry finally decides to deal with the gun, it's gone. Just vanished. That's terrifying, isn't it? Knowing there's a gun floating around the square unaccounted for. Whoever's got it, whatever they plan to do with it. That's the kind of storyline that can explode into something massive down the line. And just before we carry on with the final 2 spoilers, if you're still watching and enjoying this, make sure you hit subscribe. That way you'll never miss the latest EastEnders updates. 6. Johnny returns. Callum's face lights up the second Johnny walks back in earlier than planned, and for a moment it feels like old times. You'd expect nothing but smiles after that sort of reunion, but soap life never lets things stay simple. The mood shifts fast when Callum clocks Johnny at the Albert with someone else. And not just chatting either, but on what looks very much like a date. That little pang of jealousy is written all over him, and you can't help but feel a bit sorry for him. What's interesting, though, is that Johnny's return isn't just about romance or tension. He actually proves useful when things get tricky with Lexi. He steps in at just the right time, showing that side of him that's caring and dependable. The version of Johnny that Callum once loved being around. It's moments like that which remind you why their connection ran so deep in the first place, even if things are complicated now. But you can already sense the uncertainty brewing. Is Johnny back for good? Or is he simply passing through with other priorities? And more importantly, does Callum really know where he fits into Johnny's life anymore? Fans are going to have plenty to say about this one, because it's the sort of story that could easily rekindle old feelings or set Callum up for even more heartbreak down the line. 7. Julie's got a surprise for Nigel, and finally, something abysses Julie acting shifty, sneaking off for a mysterious phone call. Naturally, he starts to suspect something dodgy. But the truth is actually much nicer. She's been arranging a surprise. The next day, she reveals she's brought his beloved car to Walford. You can just picture Nigel's face lighting up. After all the heavy storylines lately, a little bit of joy like that is exactly what's needed. Of course, it wouldn't be EastEnders if there wasn't some catch or complication down the line, but for now it's just a heart-warming moment. So that's next week in Walford. Anthony clashing with his family, Oscar facing the police again, Tommy on the edge of imploding, Joel pushing everyone too far, Harry tangled up with a gun, Johnny stirrings up for Callum, and Julie giving Nigel a rare happy moment. 7 storylines all bubbling away, and each one could easily set off a chain reaction. I don't know about you, but the Tommy and Harry storylines have me really worried. EastEnders has a history of turning teenage trouble into full-blown disaster, and with secrets, weapons, and missing kids in the mix, it feels like we're on the brink of something huge. Bottom line, if you thought August was going to be quiet, Walford clearly has other plans. And before you go, don't forget to like this video, drop a comment sharing which storyline you're most excited or nervous about, and hit subscribe so you don't miss what happens next.